Data analysis is an important step in research. Without analyzing the data, we can't find the result. Statistical method used in data analysis depends on the nature of the data. Chi-square test is a non-parametric test and which is used to find the association between two categorical variables, and it is also used to find the distribution of the one categorical variable. I am Dr. Jaising, and in this tutorial is made for understanding the concept of the chi-square test and also how can we use this test in social science research.
Please like, share and subscribe to JS Academy and click the bell icon to get the latest videos at the earliest.
Dear viewers, today in this video finding the chi-square value to test the hypothesis will be explained. How to find chi-square values manually, and with the help of Excel software will be demonstrated. Besides this, different types of hypotheses will be framed with the help of research problems and examples, which can be tested using the chi-square test. So please see the video up to the end.
With the help of some example, I will show you how to make the hypothesis, null hypothesis, and we use the chi-square test in examining this hypothesis. Suppose the example is that students having musical interests are distributed in different grades at the preparatory stage. The frequency distribution is given in the following table. Grades at preparatory stage are grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5, and the number of students are 15 in grade 3 and 18 in grade 4 and 10 in grade 5. And we want to find the answer that are they equally distributed, and the hypothesis in this case will be students having musical interests are distributed in different grades in different proportions, and null hypothesis will be students with musical interests are distributed in different grades equally. Similarly, in another example, null hypothesis will be the students of the 12th standards studying in different educational boards appear in IIT exams in equal proportions. And the alternative hypothesis will be the students of different boards of the 12th standards appear in IIT exams in different proportions. In this examples, 12th standard students studying in some boards like UP board, CBSE board and ICSE boards appear in IIT exams, and we want to examine are they uh, appear in equal proportion or in different proportion. And another example, the null hypothesis will be the tourists of the different European countries visit India in the same proportion as the average over the past 5 years. And the alternative hypothesis in this case will be the tourists from European countries visit India in different proportions from the average over the past 5 years. In such type of the hypothesis, we use the chi-square test. Now, with the help of another example, I will show you how to calculate uh, and find the value of the chi-square in an example. Suppose a study was conducted on 60 students of BA Arts stream to know their likeness of assessment procedure oblique techniques being adopted in their college. Students were asked to like one type of the assessment techniques from 7 categories, that is written assignment, test, presentation, quiz, viva, seminar and online quiz. The frequency are given in the following table, and the question is, are the students showing significant trends, that is significantly differ in their likeness? In this table, the frequencies are given like in written assignments. Students' observed frequency is 13, and the presentation which was liked by the students were 9, and 11 students like tests. Similarly, the seminar, quiz, Viva, and online quiz 5, 9, 6, and 7 students respectively like these. The hypothesis, which is based on the chi-square goodness of fit test, is that students of BA Arts differ in their likeness of the assessment procedure oblique techniques. Null hypothesis will be students of BA Arts do not significantly differ in their likeness of the assessment procedure oblique techniques at the 0.05 level of the significance. The chi-square formula which will be used is chi-square is equal to summation of observed frequency minus expected frequency square divided by the expected frequency, and we take at the last the sum of these squares. Now, in this table, we see that the student observed frequency in written assignment, presentation, tests, seminar, quiz, Viva, and online quiz are given 13, 9, 11, 5, 9, 6, and 7. And the expected frequency, which is counted with the help of the observed frequencies, and it is based on the equal proportion, is that first we take the sum of all the frequencies, which is 60, and then divide by the number of the types of the assignment, that is written assignment, presentation, test, seminar, quiz, Viva, and online quiz, that is 7, and we divide it, we find 8.57, and the expected frequencies for all these categories will be 8.57. Manually, if you calculate this, then we find the first we calculate the difference of the observed frequency and expected frequency, and the first we see in this table that observed frequency is 13 and expected frequency is 8.57. We find the difference of the 13 and 8.57, which is given here in the first line, that is 13 minus 8.57 and f4 minus fa, and then we square it and divide the observed frequency expected frequency, that is 8.57, and we get 2.29. Similarly, for each cells, that is for the presentation, the difference will be 9 minus 8.57, and we find the difference of the 9 minus 8.57 and square it and divide by 8.57, which is equal to 0.02. And similarly, we find the f4 minus fa square upon fa for all types of the categories for all the categories, and we get 0.69, 1.49, 0.02, 0.77, and 0.29. After this, we sum these values and get chi-square values. That is, chi-square values is equal to 5.57, which is the sum of these difference square and divide by the expected frequency. Degree of freedom is n minus 1, and 7 categories are given here. So the degree of freedom will be 7 minus 1, that is 6. And total value of the chi-square at 0.05 level of the significance, table value is 12.592, which we get from the table, and we can also see this in online, and we evaluate it with the help of the given value and compare it by the given value, and what we find, the obtained value is 5.57 and the table value at 0.05 level is 12.59. Hence, the chi-square value which we get is 5.57 and it is less than 12.592. That is the table value at 0.505 level of the significance. It means it is not significant. So how we interpret it? Chi-square value in the example is less than the table value for significance at zero point zero 0.05 level. Hence, chi-square value is not significant. It means there is no significant trends in the BA art students with respect to their likeness to assessment techniques. They do not significantly differ in their likeness. With the help of an example in Excel, I will show you how to find the chi-square value. Suppose in this example, which have been mentioned, that the BA Arts students who were asked whether they like the presentation, written assignment, test, seminar, quiz, and Viva or online quiz, and the frequencies obtained were 13, 9, 11, 5, 9, 6, and 7. Now, if the question is that whether there is difference in their likeness, are they equally distributed or not, we use the chi-square test, and with the help of Excel, I will show you how to find the value of the chi-square test. So in first line, we put the value of the frequencies, that is 13, 9, 11, 5, 9, 6, 7, and in the expected frequency, that is in the fourth row, we click and we find the average of all these frequencies, and which will be the value, and it will be considered as the expected frequency, and it will be average value, that is equal sum of all the frequencies. So bracket, and we click this and select all the numbers from B3 to H3, and but we click and insert the dollar symbol because we want to make it absolute. Otherwise, same value will not be filled in the other cells. So we click $B, $3, and $H up to $H, $3, and then close the bracket and click, and then divide by number of the categories, that is 7, and so we divide it by 7 and then click the enter button. We find 8.571429, which is the average of all the numbers in different categories, and then we drag it the same number for which is the expected frequency for all the categories, and since we have inserted the dollar symbol, so the value will not be changed, and we click it these values, and the same value will be filled in other cells, and in this way we count the value of the expected frequency. Now, as we know that in the formula, the chi-square value is equal to sum of the obtained frequency minus expected frequency is square and divide by expected frequency. So first we calculate the difference of FO minus FE, that is obtained frequency minus expected frequency. For this we click it, and put the symbol equal, and we find b difference, that is b3 and b4. So we write b3 minus b4. Since for the referencing style, we want to fill the number in other cells with respect to their number of the cell, so we do not insert the dollar symbol. And for this, we click b3 minus b4, we write, and then enter button, and we find difference, that is 4.42 for the first category that is written, and then we drag it to find the difference for the other categories, and difference is obtained for the all the categories. And then we square it, and for square it we click this and we enter equal, and the cell address which we want to square, that is f4 minus fa, which is mentioned in first b6 cell, so we write b6 and then square it, so we write square 2 and then enter it button, click the enter button, and we find the square of 4.4285, that is 19.61, and again we drag it to find the square for all the categories, and in this way we find the f4 minus fa square for all the categories, and then we calculate the value of f4 minus fa square divided by fe. For this we write equal, and the cell address, that is b7, we write b7, which is the square of f4 minus fe, and then divide by fe. For this we divide fe, which is written in b4, so we write b7 divided by b4 and then click it, enter this, and we find the value of f4 minus fa square divided by fa for the first category, that is written examination. And after this we drag it, and all the values for the f4 minus fa square upon fa for all the categories, that is presentation, test, seminar, quiz, viva, and online quiz, were found. Now for the value of the chi-square test, we find sum of these values, that is sum of the f4 minus fa square divided by fa, so we write equal sum and click the parenthesis and select the cells which we want to find the equal, find the sum of these values, and then close the bracket, and we click enter button, and we find the value, that is 5.566667. And since we know that the degree of freedom, this is the chi-square value, and the degree of freedom is 7 minus 1, because 7 are the categories, that is written, presentation, test, seminar, viva, online quiz. These are the 7 categories, and the degree of freedom will be n minus 1, which will be 7 minus 1. And for this degree of freedom we find the value of the critical value of the chi-square, and for this we check online table, in search table for table value for chi-square test, chi-square test, and we search it in the Google, and we find this value, and we can check it from this table, and we check this value, and what we see, this value, we search another table, and which will be easy to show it. Yes, in this value we can check degree of freedom is mentioned in here, and for the degree of freedom, that is 6, we see 12.592 value at 0.05 level of the significance. At the 0.05 level of the significance and degree of freedom is 6, the value of chi-square is 12.59. And for 12.59, so first we write 12.59, 12.59, it is the table value, that is critical value at 0.05 level of the significance. Since our obtained value for the chi-square test is 5.57, or approximately it is 5.57, and since this value is less than table value, so it is not significant. It means null hypothesis is accepted, since the value for the chi-square test is less than the critical value. But we can also find the p-value, directly p-value, from using the formula in Excel. And for this, first we we write the observed frequency, which have been written in the third row, that is 13, 9, 11, 5, 9, 6, and 7. And we calculate the expected frequency same as it has been described, and the expected frequency in the fourth column is 8.57 for all, because this is dependent on the assumption of the equal probability, equal proportion. So 8.57 is the same value for all the categories, which is expected frequency. And for this, to find the p value, we click and we write equal, and then we type chi square, chi square, and we see the formula for chi square test is visible here. Chi square test, and we click it, and then we need to insert the actual range. Range means observed frequency range, and we select observed frequency range here up to B3 to H3, and then comma, insert the comma, and then expected range as it is required, and we select the expected range, that is equal frequency 8.57 range from for the written to online quiz, and we select it, and then close the parenthesis, and then after closing the bracket we click enter button, and we find the value, a p value is actually the 0.47. Since p value means 53% chance that this 53% we will not find the same result. So since the p value is greater than 0.05, since p value is greater than 0.05, hence it is not significant at 0.05 level. If this value, p value, uh, if the p value which we obtained is less than 0.05, then only it will be significant, and null hypothesis will be accepted in this case, because p value is 0.47, which is much larger than 0.05. In this way we test the null hypothesis using the Excel software.